Hello, friends. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Looks like we're getting set and getting in here, but welcome, everybody. It is great to be back with you this week to go through our weekly horoscope for the week of April 18th, which is going to be absolutely a brilliant week. We move into Taurus season. I am a Taurus. I'm very, very excited about the whole thing. I do have to ask for a little bit of your grace this week. I am coming off of having a cold and trying to come around. Man, this Saturn in the sixth house business has been very, very real, but I am, as always, thrilled to be here with you and talk about what's going on in our cosmos this week and give you a little bit of a heads up on the energies that are coming and available for you to work with. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. We're going to jump into the weekly astrological forecast for the week of April 18th, 2022. Taurus season is coming in. So if you're interested in that kind of content, stick around here and we're gonna jump into it here in just a second. Now, before we do jump in, I want to give a couple little shout outs and also ask you guys, what kind of life events do you have going on right now? What was happening through Aries season that maybe now as we're going through, coming to the end of Aries season and moving into Taurus season, it's like I'm getting ready to end something. And then in Taurus season, I'll take it to its next development. So prime example for me, really excited. I just finished a 1-year course doing my certification to teach English as a second language anywhere in the world. And I've officially finished it. And now I'll get to start choosing other locations to teach in as well. My oldest daughter made her choice of the college she wants to go to, and my husband finished and got his application and acceptance to Pepperdine. So I'm very, very excited. Lots of things happening like that over here, and I would love to hear what's happening for you, that it was like, woof, through Aries season, the stuff was going, the fire was on, and through Taurus season, we're going to get to see it be in its next evolution. So please let me know in the chat or let me know underneath this particular video. Now, also, I want to say happy full moon in Libra. It's a full moon day. It's very lunar. It's very it's digging into the soul a little bit, right? We've got this rebalancing. Where do I need to rebalance and tend to my life and my world and my relationships today? So I just want to say happy full moon, however this is hitting you, if it's getting to that emotional body for you, or if you feel like it's a nice course correction. What are you seeing today that you know that it's time to end, acknowledge, or allow the adjustments to come to be, right? So where do you feel like I'm pushing through to allow balance to come into my life? Whatever it is, happy full moon. I love you a ton, and I'm just offering you a world of support in what you're doing and how you're traveling. All right, now let's go on ahead and get into this weekly sky and what's going on. Now, as we're coming in on the 18th, we're coming in under a beautiful Venus and Uranus sextile. Now, what I love about that particular energy is that the sextile offers a pocket of opportunity, but then we are also taking intelligent action, to utilize that particular opportunity. Unlike the trine, it just offers a pocket of ease or opportunity, but the sextile brings the opportunity and a nice quiet involvement to take advantage of it. Now, between Venus being in Pisces and then we've got Uranus over here in Taurus, we've got this earth-water sextile, and I really love that particular combination, especially for attracting things into us. So Venus and Uranus coming together, you can absolutely expect, of course, the unexpected. It is still Uranus. You know what I mean? Definitely expect the unexpected, but also it's a very Venus energy, so expect potentially a windfall to come your way. value. Maybe you've had that up on the internet for sale, or you've been trying to sell those shoes, and all of a sudden all these buyers show up and they want to, purchase what you have. Were you working on something before and now you're starting to see it come back around? Whatever it is, this transit also says, I need to have a little fun. I need to kick it into a different gear in some way, shape, or form. Almost this feeling of, I just need some excitement. So that is something that you can expect to be 1,000% available as you're experiencing this energy. Now, because it's earth and water, sometimes it can be quieter. It's not as loud, I think, as when we experience the air fire sextiles. So whatever it is that's happening, make note of that. I'm interested to see how that was going for you as you travel throughout the rest of the week. Okay, we roll to the 19th and we're welcoming in Taurus season. Welcome. Happy birthday, Taurus. And happy birthday to the Taurus areas of your chart. This is an annual fresh start in that area as well. What house does Taurus sit in your chart? For me, yes, it is my sun sign energy, but also sits in my ninth house, right? So it's a fresh start. It's a happy birthday to the ninth house area of my chart. So for you, let me know what that looks like. Now, remember, as we're coming into the energy of Taurus, we're going to be in the realm of pleasure. Taurus really gets into these five senses, right? Into these touch, taste, feel, hear, smell, becoming aware of our environments, becoming aware of our physical bodies. And how are we treating it? Are we finding value in the pleasure of resting in our bodies, of giving our bodies rest, of giving our bodies food that are not only pleasurable, but also can fuel us for the long haul, to endure with us, right? Also, though, remember, as the sun moves, the sun brings light, heat, life, vitality, motivation. And now it is motivated to move at that slower pace. Aries is a cardinal energy, cardinal fire, got us in here. We're ready. We're going. It was the rocket that got us off the ground. And now Taurus is like, okay, we've peeked into another universe and now we're going to float. So it's a very different kind of energy, slow, steady, enduring, practical, patient, productive, reliable. Taurus season is also where you take everything you've been seeing and you get your fingers into the dirt of it, whether it is your garden, whether it is that education, that relationship, and you get your hands in the dirt, because there's natural antidepressant properties when you put your hands in really delicious soil, but there is also an opportunity to dig up the gems that are not seen at the initial peaking of your soil, of your earth, right? So think good eats, good gardening, feet into the earth, steady practical decisions with your finances and your relationships. And whether that feels really good or it feels like there is a lot of work that is involved in that, the slower pace of Taurus energy gives you time to really look around and look at the adjustments that need to be made, or look at where you yourself are developing some really sustainable endurance to carry your life forward. So don't apologize for your pleasure this season. Don't hurt people, of course, but enjoy a season of pleasure in whatever area of your chart that's happening. If you're a 12th house Taurus, are you enjoying a restorative practice? Are you enjoying painting? Are you right? Where are you bringing the pleasure of this into your life? All right, now let's jump down just a couple days. Well, we'll talk about it too. I don't talk a lot about the asteroids, but I do want to share this. So we'll have Juno on the 20th move into the energy of Pisces. Okay, if you're not super familiar with the asteroids, we're actually going to be learning a lot more about them in the YouTube Astrology Academy this year. We'll have Louise Eddington coming to teach a class specifically on the asteroids. So I'm very, very, very excited about that. But as Juno comes into the energy of Pisces, this is an absolute energy of, if Venus is the love that we attract into us, Juno is the one that says, I want to make this commitment real. I want to get into the depth of the intimacy of what is available here. The kind of intimacy that practices such a delicious, unconditional vibration of love and acceptance that it is almost unshakable, right? It's beautiful. It is beautiful. Sometimes people have called Juno. I don't know that I completely am on board with it, but I have heard Juno called a soulmate energy. Okay. But the things that we want to keep in mind is that we just also had this Jupiter-Neptune conjunction in the energy of Pisces. So where is absolutely anything possible, you can go towards it. There is this magnetic spiritual change that's available, but you've maybe been course corrected just a little bit to say, yes, anything is possible, but you have to work for it. So you don't want to be blinded by the anything is possible by unconditional love so much that we turn that into, I'm accepting poor circumstances of a relationship, but justifying it as spiritual growth, as opposed to I'm growing and am challenged in my relationships. And I am using these energies to take my blinders and rose-colored glasses off and just do the work. No slipping past, no glossing over. That's something we just have to be mindful of. But a great unconditional love is absolutely available to us. Okay. All right. Let's get down to the 24th. Now, this is a date I really would love everybody to just make note of it. It happens, every year. It's not anything new, but I think it's just a really delicious energy. We're going to see Mercury, who's in the energy of Taurus right now. So the sun and Mercury are nice and slow going right now. We're going to see Mercury in a square to Saturn, who's in Aquarius. Okay. So what we've got is a fixed square here. So what can happen under a fixed square is it's challenging. It's particularly challenging, right? Because both sides are like, well, I'm right. And they're fixed. It's a fixed heavy energy. But while this can bring a ton of challenge, and yes, we're going to talk about what the challenges are, I want you to remember under any square, it's putting you under pressure, squishing you into this little box. And so it's asking you, it's like the 911 of the aspect saying, do something. Get me out of this box, right? So that's how a square works. So you're going to feel the pressure likely to do something. But what you do under a square is really kind of defining here. So as Mercury and Saturn square, we've got our mind versus our steady, hold it down, maturing kind of energy. And as these two square with one another, this is actually phenomenally good for focus. What do I need to focus on? What do I need to really use my big kid brain or my most mature pieces available to me to focus in on something and get something done? I will say that personally, I think with Mercury being in the energy of Taurus and Saturn being in the energy of Aquarius, you may have this sense or this feeling of, I need to kind of work on this by myself, but maybe there's a grouping or something or a deadline that is pressing on me, but I feel like I need more time. I'm moving slowly. I feel behind. I'm not thinking as quickly. The answers are not coming to me. They're not flowing to me like they will when we get into Gemini season. So if you're feeling the pressure underneath that square, make a day of it, right? Make time for it. Make a specific window of time where you can get into your focus. Put on some really nice acoustic guitar if that's what gets your mind fired up, so that you're not feeling like the push, and the demand of deadlines or the outside forces pushing on you. And then you can be stimulated into action. Now, in relationships, Mercury is in Taurus. So when we're talking about Taurus energy, we're talking money, value, relationships, possessions. All of these energies are also very familiar with Taurus energy, and squaring Saturn, it can feel like there's a gap or a distance or a sense of separation between you and the people, you and the friends, you and the organizations, you and the deadlines, you in your relationships. You may be feeling like there is a bit of distance, tension, in any one of these things, right? Now, if you do have this aspect natally, it's really interesting because what tends to happen that I see with people as they're developing this, of course, this will depend on if you are developing or where you're at, but it's like what's in my head, I'm trying to communicate to someone outside of me, and it may not always come out like smooth like butter, right? Because Saturn is going to act as a bit of restricting, or it's very serious, or it's very reserved. So sometimes it can even be I'm telling a joke, or I'm showing up thinking I'm like, telling a joke, and somebody else is like, wait, what? So if you're experiencing that on that day, just know, it's okay. It can bring a heavier, more pessimistic energy. So try to focus in and see the best side that you can with that particular energy. Okay. All right. Yeah. I see somebody in the chat says they've got that as well. Now, also on that same day, though, while Mercury is doing that dance over here to Saturn, it's going to have a relieving sextile to Neptune, who's in Pisces. Okay. So that is actually very, very useful. Okay. So it helps soften it a little. It's like, okay, maybe, I saw this meme this week and I thought it was great. And it was like, me sitting outside in the sunshine for 5 minutes, feeling like life is actually okay and I love existing. I kind of feel a little bit like that's where that Mercury Pisces helps relieve some of that tension and that pressure of that Mercury Saturn square. It's like, okay, this is a lot. This is tough, but I'm also growing here. And if I just come at this from a little bit of a different position, maybe don't think it's the worst thing ever, there's space to grow here. But also, Saturn wants to be in the restriction mode. It wants it this way, barriers, right? Boundaries. And Neptune wants to soften. It wants to dissolve the boundaries. So truly coming at the situations in your life as we get to these dates from a spiritual, compassionate position is going to be the most helpful thing that you can do for yourself and for others. It's also a really creative energy. Maybe there's been something that has felt restrictive to you and you're having to come up with creative solutioning. My husband calls it the creative third option. It's the one I wasn't even thinking about at all because I only see yes and no, so use that as these energies are coming around for you and understand there's a nice dish of being able to delve into some creative solutions in that. Okay. Now we're not even done. Okay, that's not the last sextile we're going to see for the day. We're also going to see Venus, who is rip-roaring her way through the energy of Aries in a sextile to that Saturn that's in Aquarius. So bing, 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 bing is kind of the feel as we're on the 24th. So it's a very energetic day. Just know that there's lots whipping and zipping around. But as Venus and Saturn sextile with one another, this is a bit of clarity. Okay, something that you are serious about, something that you have wanted to take on or be a part of, you actually have the clarity to attract it to you. I want to be in conscious companionship with another person. And I'm also thinking more seriously about the implications of what it means to do that. I can recognize and acknowledge a genuine value in the relationships I'm taking on, in the money that I have. I realize if I have an odd understanding with money or relationships in my life, that there's an availability for me to form a true partnership through different understanding of my alignment with that particular energy. I really personally think that this is a phenomenal aspect, and later in the day on the 24th is a great day to conduct any kind of business that you need to handle. If you need to sign contracts, enter into negotiations, investing, anything where you're investing, you're putting money in to attract money back to you, I think that these are phenomenal aspects. And I will tell you, the later in the day on the 24th, there's business happening over at Stormie Grace as well, because I very much so favor that particular aspect. Okay, I just want to throw this in as a solid idea too. If with Venus and Saturn sextile, if you haven't been saving, or you've been worrying about the commitment, making a commitment to saving, or making a commitment to investing, or making a commitment to learning about different currency, we've got crypto and all of this stuff out now. I think that this is a great day to explore that. And remember to start saving for yourself. It can even be done in a penny jar. Can you put your change in that jar? And small commitments, baby steps, really can go a long way. So just keep that in mind as you're thinking about this. And yes, please, you guys hit the like button. I would love you for that. Either way, it's a really busy day on the 24th. So make sure that you are absolutely paying attention to that. Okay. Now that is going to bring us to the end of the week, but I want to share, to please go back in your world all the way to 2014. Because we are getting prepared next week for the solar eclipse happening in the energy of Taurus. And as you back up and you look into 2014, what were you starting? What were you working on in your relationships, around your finances, your values? Ideas and practices around self-sufficiency. What were you starting and working on in 2014 in those Taurus areas of your chart? Because now this year, as we are experiencing the eclipses and the nodes traveling through these areas, it's really polishing, refining, and growing, right? Eclipses are how the universe kind of creates a little stir in our life to course correct us exactly where we need to be in bigger ways that tend to be more noticeable. So what were you working on at that particular time? And if it was not your favorite time, what wisdom do you get to apply into your life now? Because even if it was the best time in your life and A, B, C, and D, right? We're still in a continuation of that in some way. Or if it was the crappiest time in your life, pull the wisdom out of what you experienced. This is the beauty, I think, really of astrology, is we live our patterns. We just get to follow along and apply more wisdom to what we're doing, and really, if you want to think even bigger about these areas of your life, especially if you're over, if you're over the age of, let's see, what is that going to be? 38. Think back 19 years ago in your life. What were you working on in the areas of Taurus and Scorpio in your chart? We just live our patterns. So you have a pattern, go back 19 years and see what was going on, because in some way you got the same energetic stamp lit up in your chart, but now you'll have a few different planetary configurations and a hell of a lot more wisdom, and your ability, hopefully at this point too, to apply a level of forgiveness, unconditional love, genuine partnership with yourself, and understanding of who you are, how you're made, what works for you, what doesn't work for you, why you eat this, why you don't eat that, why these things, I think, become abundantly available as you go back and you look at these patterns. Now, if you're a little bit younger than that, then you don't have your 19-year pattern to pick up just yet. But if you've got a couple 19 years behind you, look back at your own pattern. And what you really want to be focusing on is grabbing your chart and looking at where the Taurus and Scorpio houses and axes are at and what was going on in those areas and those houses at that particular time. And you'll get a good sense of where you're going or where you're advancing in that pattern, right? So apply that wisdom this week. Enjoy coming into Taurus season. I have been very excited to work on the May videos, and I just feel like they're the horoscopes, they're normal, they're the horoscopes, but there is just a lush excitement that I have about Taurus season. Not that I don't love the rest of you. I just happen to be a Taurus. So all right, my absolutely beautiful friends, thank you so much for joining me to watch this video. If you didn't get the opportunity to hit the like button, I would absolutely love and appreciate you if you did. I look forward to seeing you in the YouTube Astrology Academy. Watch the community tab on the homepage of this channel for more details and information. And of course, you'll also see information coming out in the newsletters. And we will be kicking off our academy, bringing our teachers back and giving you more information as we roll into May, and I am looking so very forward to it. So I love you guys a ton. Have an absolutely gorgeous week. Please let me know what's starting for you and what you're going to be continuing on as we move into Taurus season, or anything else that you've got going on, so that we can just give some love, send some energy and support into our community. I always love and appreciate that the reason we gather here in astrology is to bring some more consciousness out into the world. So it's almost as if you are, when you show up into this group or any other astro or conscious group, if you're getting like a C+ in spirituality inside of a consciousness group, it usually still equates to like at least an A- out in the regular world, because not all of our fellow travelers are willing to be awake and practice consciousness right now. So I take our community quite seriously, send you a lot of love. Hopefully this guidance is useful to you this week, and I love you, and I will see you guys next week. Bye, everyone.